Hey folks. The Kingdom of Hyrule, seen across the two Wild Era games, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, has been through a lot. Other iterations of the kingdom have experienced horror events too, evil takeovers, major flooding, land turned into darkness. But none truly set in as much as this version of the kingdom. I believe that is largely down to the fact we experience both the horror event and the aftermath. We as the player play through the aftermath of Calamity Ganon's attack, as well as Ganondorf's return. With Halloween 2023 approaching, I had to get thinking of some spooky or horror themed video ideas, and in this part 1 of 2 Halloween special, we are going to relive the horrors this kingdom has seen, but with added unique perspective. The thoughts of those we didn't hear, the angles of the land we couldn't see, and just truly expand and recap in one complete video this era of horror that Hyrule has gone through. Part 2 will go live on Halloween night itself this coming Tuesday, and it'll be looking at something a little different, but still very much on theme. With that said, get yourself comfy, get your spooky vibes ready, and as always folks, be sure to go and grab yourself a trick or treat and send them in to get featured right here. And let's relive the recent horrors of the Kingdom of Hyrule. The story begins 100 years before the events of Breath of the Wild, before the Great Calamity struck. Life was settled, and Hyrule had many bustling communities all over the land, many which we never saw due to their demise which was soon to come. Places such as Dea Village, Hyrule's tucked away settlement just outside of central Hyrule by the Dueling Peaks. The Ranch, Hyrule's once primary source of produce. Tabantha Village, a passerby settlement in the Hebra region. Castle Town itself, the once heart of the kingdom, and many others that are either unmarked or just decimated to the point of not even being there now. This image here shows the population concentration before and after the Great Calamity. This alone is horrifying, but how it all went down is truly one of the most horrific events in Hyrule's long history. A very old tale told on the ancient tapestry depicted a great battle between beast and man, Calamity Ganon and the hero. This is known as the Great Calamity, a battle for the ages where the hero, aided by the technological feats of the Sheikah and divine powers of the princess, sealed away a great evil. This was 10,000 years ago, however, it was said to return. The signs of Calamity Ganon's resurrection were showing. Monsters became more frequently spotted across the land. The vibe within the royal family grew worried, and soon enough, disaster struck. One day, approximately 100 years prior to the day Link woke up at the beginning of Breath of the Wild, Calamity Ganon broke free from deep below Hyrule Castle. This event could be seen from afar. The sounds coming from the castle were loud and ferocious. Terror was upon Hyrule. The malice of Calamity Ganon quickly infested and possessed the Sheikah technology, which was there to defend against this very event. Guardian tanks turned on the people, the divine beasts were hijacked, and Hyrule's chances of survival went down greatly. The Guardians massacred the people of Castletown. Innocent Hylians could do nothing but hug their loved ones and hope for it to be over soon. The footage we have of this tragedy is truly disturbing, and speaks levels to the pure evil within Calamity Ganon's malice. It destroyed the town completely, whilst also quickly flooding into Hyrule Field and rampaging over every small settlement, outpost, and unfortunate soul who found themselves here. Outrunning a Guardian isn't an option, never mind the hundreds flooding out. The calamity as a whole would have likely lasted days, hours of burning, bloodshed and horror. Towns and villages being crushed within moments. Innocent families wiped out without a moment of mercy from the ruthless, malice-infested guardians. The pace at which this spread would have been terrifying to witness. We see just how quick guardians could move in the Calamity flashbacks. They were lethal. They even managed to take down the Akala Citadel, the military training camp, and of course, the Great Plateau. All major landmarks of Hyrule wiped out and destroyed. Combined with the influx of monsters, and Hyrule never stood a chance when this broke out. The Great Calamity was quite literally Hyrule's doomsday. A key moment to highlight in this disaster took place in Blatchery Plain just through the Julian Peaks. As Link and Zelda attempted to retreat to Hiteno Village, they were overwhelmed by the mass amount of guardians. Just when hope seemed lost as Link fell to his knees, Princess Zelda managed to unlock her sacred power and sent a powerful blast in all directions to save herself and Link. Following this, two Sheikah come to their aid, and Zelda orders that Link be taken to the Shrine of Resurrection immediately. This is where he would recover for 100 years. After that order, Zelda made her way to Hyrule Castle, which, whilst the storytelling of the game transitions from Blatchery Plain to Hyrule Castle smoothly, this journey would not have been easy. Zelda would have still had to be extremely careful to make her way through the rampaging guardians, regardless of having just unlocked her sacred power. And she made it. And she stood toe-to-toe with Calamity Ganon. As the beast approached quickly, Princess Zelda made a crucial sacrifice and managed to seal Calamity Ganon, but at the cost of sealing herself in there as well. This put an end to the source of the Great Calamity. However, the damage was done. Hyrule was scarred forever. The aftermath of this event was intense. A perfect way to describe what this was like in the time frame shortly after would be what Uma of Hiteno Village says. She tells Link, "The Calamity. Yes, I didn't come along until everything was already over. I was born during the Age of Burning Fields." The Age of Burning Fields. Whilst the disaster itself was over, the lasting effects were still brutal. Guardians roaming central Hyrule and beyond. Travel between settlements, near impossible. The kingdom was still burning, figuratively and literally, from the fire Calamity Ganon started. This first year following the event would have probably just been focused on survival, regrouping in the distant settlements that survived. However, as 1 year turns to 10 turns to 50, and eventually we reach 100 years after the Great Calamity. Things slowly settle, and most importantly, the hero Link awakens in the Shrine of Resurrection. Memory gone. Goal unknown. All he sees is a destroyed kingdom. The beautiful Temple of Time has been destroyed. Buildings on the plateau were demolished, and even the entrance got blocked up. This is just the beginning. Almost every small outpost, village, and odd building or two were destroyed. Some major settlements survived, however only those in the distant corners from Hyrule Castle. Major settlements and landmarks such as Dea Village, the Sage Temple, and Gaponga Village were all destroyed. This is arguably the worst condition Hyrule has ever found itself in. If it weren't for Zelda unlocking her sacred powers in the dying moments, then the Kingdom of Hyrule might have actually met its end, as the rampaging guardians were not stopping. Thankfully, in the modern day, 100 years on, Link is able to regain his strength and memory, in order to take on Calamity Ganon again and alongside Princess Zelda, put a stop to Dark Beast Ganon, returning Hyrule to peace. Hyrule lived in peace for a good few years following the ending of Breath of the Wild. We don't know the exact time frame between the two games, but we can roughly estimate it at between 4 and 7-ish years, based on the aging of a few characters. In this time frame, the kingdom was slowly recovering. Princess Zelda had been visiting all over the kingdom, even helped to set up a school in Hiteno Village. The Bolson Construction Company project was started to rebuild Hyrule, and we can find their materials all across the kingdom. kingdom. Building plans were in place pretty much far and wide. Newcomers moved to Hyrule such as Yona of the Zora, Pen of the Rito, and Taro of the Hylians. It isn't clear if they travelled from distant lands or were just technically there in Breath of the Wild, but we as the player just don't encounter them. Regardless, there are many new characters and lots of improvements happening across the kingdom. However, the kingdom was soon to be struck by yet another horrific occurrence. Whilst all seemed well and good, a mysterious thing called gloom was appearing from the castle. Our adventure as the player kicks off around this time, with Link and Princess Zelda venturing deep below the castle to investigate the origins of this foggy gloom. Little is known about it at this point. Princess Zelda mentions that it has been making people fall ill, but other than that, not much was known, and nobody could imagine the truth behind it. As Link and Zelda got deeper and deeper, they eventually found a shriveled up corpse dispensing this gloom, held down by a mysterious green hand. Upon getting close, the corpse rose and attacked the hero and his sword, breaking the legendary Master Sword into pieces. In truly chilling fashion, the corpse began to speak, but that wasn't the most chilling part. It knew who Link was. Put yourself in their shoes here. How does this creature know your name? Why has it just attacked you? What is going on? Zelda picked up that stone that it dropped, which would soon become crucial to saving her life. The creature sends a blast of gloom upwards, raising Hyrule Castle and kicking off an event known as the Upheaval. This caused a lot of strange things to happen around the kingdom. Sky Islands appeared high above, daunting chasms opened up into the depths. The major regions of Hyrule began experiencing troubled times. Unlike the Great Calamity of 100 years ago, this event had a widespread effect all at once. Back down below Hyrule Castle, the room began to crumble and Princess Zelda fell. In heroic fashion, Link drops everything to dive after her and save her. However, he failed. Link couldn't catch Zelda and she vanished into the void. Link was then rescued by the mysterious green hand which was once on top of the creature. Once again, Hyrule was victim to a great evil. This great evil was Ganondorf, the Gerudo king who in ancient times, back in the era of Hyrule's founding, had betrayed the king and queen of that time, Rauru and Sonia, by murdering the queen. He posed as Princess Zelda through his dark magic to get her, and in a moment of chaos, struck Queen Sonia from behind, stole her secret stone and used it to transform into his purest form of evil, the Demon King. This kicked off a series of chaotic attacks across the land. Settlements fell one by one, Ganondorf's terrifying army rampaged across the kingdom, and it all came down to King Rauru sealing Ganondorf by sacrificing his physical form to hold the great evil down. However, both Rauru and Ganondorf knew this seal wouldn't hold forever, and it didn't. Now, the reason that creature Ganondorf knew details of those who approached him is because King Rauru told him that one day a hero with the sword that seals the darkness would come. That day came on the day of the Upheaval of Hyrule. Unlike the Calamity, which struck very hard in a focused area of the kingdom, the Upheaval was a bit more tame, but also widespread across the entire kingdom. Gorons possessed by marbled rock, Rito frozen in by a storm, Zora infested with sludge, and Gerudo plagued by Gibdo and sandstorms. Dangerous chasms that opened up to the depths appeared. Zonai's Sky Islands were high above as well as dangerous pieces of debris that randomly fall. The influence of gloom is also very present. Weapons became decayed, people still fell ill, and all of this brought on new threats to the kingdom. Herokuta, Battle Talus, Horoblins, Gleeok, and of course, Gloomspawn. Hyrule's recovery was put on hold due to yet another great evil. As well as Princess Zelda being missing, as the kingdom was on hold, she was in the ancient past to aid Link in the future. She even witnesses Ganondorf's betrayal. In the present day, after Link has resolved the 4 regional problems, recovered the Master Sword, and truly learned what was going on, he went to face Ganondorf deep below the castle. Only this time, the creature was much deeper than when he first encountered him. Link must bravely dive further down and explore the Gloom's lair, a complex source of Ganondorf's malice and fueling up for his comeback. A very important environmental detail here, which is never outright said, is what all of these Gloom roots do. We see tons of them down here and all across the depths. A very cool detail is that these roots found all over the depths all point back to and flow towards the castle where Ganondorf is waiting. These roots are essentially sucking life out of the world to refuel the Demon King. Just another piece of information to add to the terrifying power of Ganondorf. The evil beast that he is transforms from his shriveled up corpse and regains his true form. A battle then takes place between the hero and Ganondorf, only for Link to best him. Or so he thought. Ganondorf gains further strength from being beaten down, turning into his pure form of evil and even increasing his health. However, Link triumphs once again. And once again, Ganondorf doesn't back down. The Demon King swallows his secret stone, and the unthinkable happens as he turns into a dragon, bursting out from beneath the castle. The people of Hyrule would have seen this terrifying spectacle take place. Link was caught in the beast's mouth, but thankfully, the light dragon, Princess Zelda, comes to the rescue. In truly what would be the most unbelievable event to watch from the ground, these two dragons, along with Link, battle it out in the sky until Link is finally triumphant and slays the demon dragon. Hyrule is once again at peace, but the scars it has gained throughout the Wilds era of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom will truly live in the memory for a very long time. Innocent people slaughtered, homes destroyed with no mercy, an evil king's resurgence and assault on the kingdom. This is all my telling of what I am dubbing Hyrule's Era of Horror, a Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom lore recap. Will the kingdom now have a chance to properly rebuild and live in peace, or will yet another evil show up just as normality returns?